So I'm turning into the world's biggest Nike hater because people treat the company like a religion, and we've seen it over and over and over again that the Nike marketing machine almost never delivers on its promises. So I just cut and wore the Nike SB Air Max 95, and I was just kind of blown away. Like, it could have been a lot better. If you haven't seen this video, go check it out. It's really interesting technology, but you can kind of see what they do. But everyone has been talking about another Air Max skate shoe, the Air Max Ishod, or Wairmax, or Air Max 2, or Ishod 2. It's got a whole bunch of different names. People absolutely love this shoe, so I'm gonna go through it and run it through all of our tests to find out, like, how does the air unit technology actually work compared to a normal air unit? Will it pop? Why do people love this shoe? And can Nike actually make any decent shoes ever? Or is it all just, you know, riding the coattails of technology from 1985 and like Michael Jordan and all their athletes and all that stuff? But if you don't know who Ishod Wair is, let me educate you. So Ishod is like the Michael Jordan of skating. He's really like a true versatile superstar. He rips the street, he rips transition, he won Thrasher Skate of the Year. He's a well-rounded pro. He's widely regarded as one of the best skateboarders of all time. He's super fun to watch, and I'll link some of his vids below because he just demolishes anything he skates. So Nike gave him a pro shoe a few years ago. It's called the Ishod. I feel like no one really cared. It just kind of looked like a very generic Nike shoe. It didn't really make a lasting impression, which is crazy because you think his pro shoe would be full of like insane tech. It accommodates his range of skating from like huge stair sets to rails to drops to transition, everything. But last year they released a second pro shoe, but this time the tech was much more visible and much more eye-catching, and it has been much more popular than the first iteration. Tons of people from the skate testing pool have skated it and say they love it. So what is this shoe actually? The brand is Nike SB, the skateboarding division, or like Sandy Bodecker, who it's named after. I'm pretty sure the style on the box says it's the Nike Air Max Ishod. A lot of people call it the Ishod 2. A lot of people call it the Wairmax. There's a little bit of naming problems here and there. The price is $110. It's now $115. The shoe's all over the place with the name and price confusion. It's made in Indonesia, and the positioning from the brand's website, Nike is the worst offender of like BS marketing on the website. So let's see what it says. It says, infused with elements taken from iconic 90s hoops shoes, the Air Max Ishod has all the durability you need to skate hard. This creative twist on the original Ishod design features updated mesh, exposed Air Max cushioning, and a cupsole that breaks in easily. Those are some pretty big claims for a skate shoe. Skate shoes are tough because they're under a lot of scrutiny because they need to be really good, but they also need to be really cheap. So it's always interesting to see which way companies go. Check out these shoes from the links in our description if you want to try out a pair for yourselves. So my first impression of this shoe, I was pretty skeptical because of all of the different panels and materials. This kind of reminded me of the Air Max 95. I feel like every added seam on a skate shoe is just another spot for failure since you're just literally rubbing your shoe against sandpaper all day, every day. Maybe not all day, every day, but a lot.
I bet you can't guess what our most successful product is, our most popular wallet is, and maybe what we should do next in the business, because I didn't until I literally just used Shopify's new Sidekick. It's an AI-powered assistant that helps you run your business smarter and faster. So we're gonna put it to the test. We'll see if it really does it. Just at the homepage of the app on my phone, click the little assistant, and then literally all you do is say, what's my best-selling wallet? It shows me exactly the #1 wallet is the Clayton wallet. And by a long shot, actually by more than double the next most popular wallet, which is the SBB. Bet you didn't know that, little behind the scenes. What product should I focus on selling more of? So it worked. Okay, so top recommendations, the Bandit camera harness. Your absolute star performer. It gives you some information. This is clearly your flagship product and deserves continued marketing focus. Lone Bandit, boot breaker insoles. Okay, so boot breakers are #3. And that's the cool thing about this is I think you'd be surprised at how few people that have Shopify sites don't actually know all the resources and all the capabilities. And so being able to just ask it a quick question and then it figures it out for you. It's using all the back end side of Shopify, like all the reports, all the analytics, everything. And instead of spending hours for you to do it, it just does it in a matter of like 30 seconds. But it's gonna give you a huge shortcut in pulling a lot of this information, giving some rough strategy, and it clearly works. So check out Shopify Sidekick at shopify.com/roseanvil, and thanks again to Shopify for sponsoring this video.
So let's break down the upper and kind of see what's inside. So right away, I want to talk about the fit of this shoe because Nike, I feel like, is notorious for having very skinny shoes. And you can see it looks pretty skinny, but I have a couple different Nike shoes here to compare it to. So I have a really skinny Janoski, and then I have a pretty wide Dunk, and you can kind of see it's like right in between these three. So like this is skinny, this is the widest that Nike really makes, and this kind of sits somewhere in between. The Janoski and a lot of Nike shoes are way too skinny for my feet, and it really hurts. Like, it definitely rubs my pinky toe when I'm in there. And the Dunk, I just don't love the fit of the Dunks, but they are like pretty wide and will actually fit my shoe. So the first time I tried on the shoe, I was really surprised because it felt really good. I think they used a roomier last to accommodate all of the extra room that the air unit is taking up. And they added this internal lacing cage system so you can really tighten your shoe down and it doesn't look cranked. Like, this one looks absolutely cranked around pinching, and that looks super lame. But I like that because it's like you can really control your fit and like not look super whack, which is always good. It actually feels really comfortable on foot, so surprisingly 1 point in the good column for Nike. But it is made out of a lot of different materials, so let's break that down and see how those all work together. It's made of like 5 or 6 different materials. You got, you know, this grain leather, suede leather, you got this rubber taping, you got the rubber cupsole, you got the vent mesh right here. You have this leather looking material on the tongue and on the eyelets. So first off, I did like the mesh on this. It did feel a little cooler compared to a shoe, like especially like a Dunk that has a lot of foam and it's not gonna be breathable at all. This definitely feels a lot more breathable than something like that. Just don't step in any puddles because you're literally just exposed right there. Like, you can see through your shoe, so be careful. So let's move on to the Rose Anvil specialty, the leather tests. So if we start with a real leather, I say real in quotation marks because this is so heavily coated in plastic and it has a really thick embossed print on it. It looks terrible and it creases instantly, which is always funny that Nike uses like the worst possible leather when people really don't want creases. I would have definitely preferred suede here. We did the burn test and it is actually real leather, but it's like the bottom of the spectrum of real leather. But if we go to the suede, it's 1.5 millimeters, which is average for a skate shoe. It's where you want to see it for a skate shoe. Any thinner and you'd be getting into some treacherous territory. But what I do like is that they actually have a turned edge around the toe. So in theory, this will keep all of like the loose raw fibers of the suede away from the skateboard. You can see how a raw edge started grabbing and ripping off the shoes. Like, it did that in the Samba, and it kind of did that in the New Balance 933 as well. But unfortunately, like right here does not have the turned edge. So right here, I think it's going to be a little more beneficial for the turned edge. But with the Air Max 95, none of the panels were actually dual layered. So I filleted the shoe to check, and here are your results. The leather toe is not actually double layered below this suede right here. Other shoes around this price start getting into multiple layers of protection, like the New Balance 1010 is $110, and that thing was built like a tank with double layers everywhere. But it's kind of a bummer to see that even though this is a pretty bad leather, it's still good to have another layer of protection there. But what I'm really worried about would be if the rubber and the suede aren't double layered, because that's right where you're ollieing. That's like a very important zone, and if it's not double layered, you're gonna go through it super fast. If this is just skived down to nothing, that's gonna suck. We've seen it a bazillion times in pretty much every skate shoe. So if you cut it down, I really had to peel everything apart, but you can see that the suede does actually go all the way down into the shoe, which is good to see. If that wasn't actually double layered right there and it was $115 like it is now, I'd be kind of pissed if I bought it because this would probably start separating immediately because that's right where everyone ollies and kickflips. But surprisingly, for how bulky this shoe looks with all the panels, it's very flexible and it feels very light and slim on foot. I mean, look at how you bend this. I mean, it just goes compared to like a Dunk. Oh man, that's actually kind of tough to bend. And they look about like, you know, like the same amount of bulk to them, but I'm shocked at how slim and like light it feels on foot. I can't believe I'm saying this, but so far, so good for Nike. Usually by about here, you start seeing the, you know, the stuff peel away. But the biggest elephant in the room, the air unit. What you might not know about this air unit is that it's actually hiding kind of a dirty secret, is it's not even a real air unit. Like, you can just pop it out and boom. I mean, that's not an air unit. Pretty much every other air unit we have seen, it's built into this foam midsole right here. Like, you can't take that out. You're standing on the midsole. So this is actually a pretty common tactic used by Nike. Usually it's a Zoom Air packet you see on the heel. Like, Nike will do this thing where they take these models and they're like, yes, it's upgraded for skateboarding. And the only thing that's really upgraded is that on the insole, they put this little packet of Zoom Air. I don't know if it's not shady. It's not the same shady tactic. If you're expecting like a normal Air Max style shoe, it's definitely not that. So this really took me off guard and I was a little bummed at first. But I want to test it compared to other air units that Nike SB uses. So we have the Zoom Air unit of a Janoski, and we have the two different real air units. One is just in the heel of the Jordan 4, and one is like the bigger exposed air bubble of the 95. So we're gonna see what the best air tech is. The first test is the ball drop to see how much response the cushioning has. We did the Janoski, it bounced up 22 inches. We did the Air Max 95, it bounced up 18.2 inches. When we did the Jordan 4, it only bounced up 10 inches. So it's kind of lower, it's like 22, 18, 10. But then we tested the Ishod and it bounces up 21.8 inches. So it's almost on par with the Zoom Air unit. And we've seen over and over again that the Zoom Air is like the most responsive and best air cushioning unit that Nike has. So that's pretty good to see that it's performing like this. But if we take the bar drop test, which is a heavier test, a more real impact test. So the Janoski bounced up about 4.5 inches. The Air Max 95 bounced up about 6.75 inches. The Jordan 4 bounced up about 7 inches. And the Ishod bounced up about 6 inches. So what does that mean to you? What do all these numbers mean to you? With other air unit shoes, there's not as much board feel since there's so much foam and air beneath your feet. It's gonna cushion a lot, you're not gonna feel very much. But in like the Volk shoes with the Zoom Air, there's a lot of board feel, but not a ton of cushion and impact resistance since the only cushion under the heel is this. So this shoe performs a lot more like a Volk shoe with a lot of cushion. It's probably the cupsole that feels most like a Volk that I have ever worn, and the tests kind of all prove that. It's what we like at Rose Anvil, is like, it's a gimmick, it's a very visible, kind of dumb gimmick, but it actually is functional and works, so it's not just pointless. So what I thought I was gonna absolutely hate and be bummed about because it was a fake air unit actually works really well, and I really liked how it felt on foot. So I'm surprised I'm even saying that. I liked it way more than all of these. Like, I wanna put this insole into the rest of the Volk shoes. But on to the last thing, which is probably the most important thing that people overlook, is the outsole. And I'm just gonna go with all of the rubber as the outsole on this because I can't really distinguish where it ends and starts. So a lot of people say that this shoe has really good flick as well, and I think the outsole is gonna be the biggest contributing factor to that because the rubber is so tall. So for your basic facts, this is a rubber cupsole, and cupsoles are usually stiffer, tougher, and take longer to break in, but they last a lot longer than a Volk shoe. So you get protection, but lose board feel and flexibility. So testing the hardness, the higher the number, the harder, slicker, and more durable it will be, and the lower the number, the softer, grippier, but less durable it will be. It comes in at about 60 Shore, which is a little softer than a normal cupsole, which is usually in the, the 65 to 75 range, but the air unit window actually comes in at 75 Shore, so it's much harder, which is good to see, because if this was going through faster and you just put a big hole in your heel, that would kind of suck, and then your air unit would be exposed to everything. So the rubber on the toes, the softer rubber around it does definitely contribute to the shoe having very good flick, but since the outsole is so soft, it will go away very fast, and the outsole will wear off, pretty quick. I skated this for about 2 weeks, and it's just about to go through. Like, it's right on the verge of this being separate and like opening up like this, like a little mouth. Hello, I am about to go through. Which is really, it's not the best if you spend $115 on this shoe and it only lasts a couple weeks. But I really did like the softer rubber. Honestly, it just feels like a Volk shoe. But that's everything we can see from the outside, so I want to cut it in half, see how the air unit is actually structured and how the window works, and just what else is going on in this shoe, because there's already been a couple big surprises. They're like, oh, this is fake, and oh, this is double layered and not. So let's cut this thing in half. All right, so we got it cut in half, and make sure to like and subscribe. Check out all of our handmade leather goods that we make just right over my shoulder over there. So let's see what's inside. So you can see that the air unit is pretty much just a normal air unit scaled way down. Like, you can see the size difference right there. Let's do it against the 95s. Like, look at that. It just looks like a tiny little air unit embedded in the insole. But the insole is super thick. Like, look at the insole from here. Like, you can see this is about your average Nike insole, and it's like 2 to 3 times as thick as that. So if you do want to take this out and like swap it out for a different insole, if you're old and your feet hurt and you want a little more cushion, it's probably going to affect the fit a lot because this just takes up so much more room. The window to the insole is actually, like, you can see how thick that is. It's about 6 millimeters thick, which is about 2 millimeters thicker than the outsole itself. It's about 4.5 millimeters thick. You can see the difference right there of just like how much thicker that back window is than the actual outsole and how thin this outsole really is. So this shoe is pretty much just a Volk shoe with a little less board feel than normal compared to any other cupsole we've seen. And they all usually have like a bunch of foam in here for protection. I mean, just look at that. It's like this tiny little skin. It's just a vulcanized shoe in the shape of a cupsole. So the total pros, really good fit, really good shape, and it's really comfortable if you like board feel and that vulcanized kind of feel. And the air unit surprisingly actually works, and I really like it. But you know, there's always cons of every shoe, so durability will be this shoe's downfall. The outsole, while comfortable and it has good flick and is grippy, it's not gonna be durable. Like, this will probably go through in about 2.5 to 3 weeks if you're skating every day. And it's pretty expensive at about $110, $115. But if you can snag it on sale, totally worth it. But at full price, we've seen other shoes at $110. Some of the best built sneakers we've ever seen. And this, I don't think is that, but it is pretty comfortable to skate in. I really liked it. So this might be my favorite Nike I've skated. It's super comfortable, it's good to skate, as long as it's not raining and you're not stepping in puddles, I think you're gonna be all right. On the skate confidence chart, if I had to rank it, 1 being I can't skate in it, 10 being I am actually just Ishod Wair wearing a mask, I'd give this a 7. Like, I really enjoyed this shoe. I felt pretty confident in everything, except for bigger drops, which it just kind of feels like a Volk. So if like you're jumping down huge stairs, you know, put some padding in under your feet. I probably got the fewest clips ever in this shoe. I was just enjoying skating in this and not trying to worry about filming my mid-ass tricks, which is a big compliment to the shoe itself, I think. So overall, I'm actually pretty impressed with what Nike did. If they could get this shoe, this technology in this shoe down to like $80, I think they'd have a winner. Like, if they just took all of this and replaced all of these panels with just like, you know, normal shoe, I think they'd get the price way down and it'd be super sick. So go snag a pair, tell me what you think. Everyone in the skate testing pool really seemed to like it, so sign up for the skate testing pool. I'll reach out to you, you can get your clips in the background. And honestly, what I really like it for is your opinion of the shoes. It's a really good community resource for like long-term wear review stuff. That's it. Tell me what other shoes you want to see or any other kind of styles or review. I didn't get to do the abrasion test on this because there's not enough material really anywhere to run the abrasion test, but you can see where I was digging through it on the outsole. All right, that's it. See you later.